So hey everyone, here we are today at Sigma. I'd like to welcome today my guest who is really special with a lot of knowledge, Alec Gehlot. So he's a solution engineer from Optimove. So tell us a little bit about today, the event. What have you seen? Have you been here since yesterday? What do you think about the summit so far?
Yes, firstly, I want to say the atmosphere has been electric. We have had plenty. Yeah, we've had so many positive conversations. We've been going around, seeing some fantastic stands, but ultimately it's about bringing the community together. And we've had great pleasure in being a part of that. So one thing is being here in Sigma and the community that we have, but also another thing is being in Dubai, a forward-thinking city, absolutely gorgeous weather, and that makes it the extra little bit better as well.
So is that your first time in Dubai or no? No. Oh, very interesting. So how do you see that AI transforming marketing strategies in the gaming industry in specific? And what are the most significant advancements you've seen in AI-driven customer experience? Because you guys are on the forefront of this, so you're nailing it, and then you're one of the leading in this space. So what's your take on this?
Yeah, so let's think about the progression we've made so far. You can think about someone just starting out and they may approach it with a batch and blast approach, which is basically sending one type of communication to your entire player base. We at Optimove have been able to evolve and move the industry forward to be thinking about what we like to call micro segmentation, which is very small groups of players which have particular interests that allow them to receive communications that are specifically tailored to those particular interests or behaviors. Where we're going to move forward is with AI, we are now getting onto this idea of one-to-one personalization. So we're no longer thinking of audiences as groups, we're thinking of individuals. And the ability to tailor marketing journeys on this individual level, I think is going to be extremely potent. We've already seen some initial advances in this area, and I can't wait to see what the future brings in that respect.
It's an interesting take when you one-on-one, target the audience and the user and how you're gonna grab him with all of the data analytics that you have, and it's really interesting. So that brings challenges, no? So especially in the gaming as operations and so on, how do you face what integrations into the marketing and customers retention strategies, and how can they really overcome all of those challenges that we just mentioned? Because things are not static, you wake up every day, there's something new. So how are you guys managing this?
Yes, it's a very important question. Whenever we talk about the advancements in AI, there are three things that I always mention, and that's data, data, and data. So whenever you want to do these advanced things, you need to make sure that the data is accurate, the data is organized, and we work extensively with the clients to ensure that this is the case. Like, we have to be very hands-on. It's also something for a lot of operators and businesses to be aware of. If you want to use advanced AI capabilities, you need to make sure your house is in order. So when it comes to integration, I think having an organized data structure, data sets, even organization in general across the business, I think is particularly important. One other aspect when it comes to integration is the familiarity of the team to be forward thinking, but also their familiarity with AI technologies. This space is expanding and evolving so quickly, it is extremely difficult to keep abreast of all the new developments. Therefore, I think you need to have the right team in place that is aware and knowledgeable, and perhaps even has experience of integrating different AI tech. It is slightly different in the process, but fundamentally, it comes down to that very basic principle of having your house in order and making sure the data is clean, unified, and that's something we help a lot of operators to manage and to also ensure that they can activate that data with us.
I think it's very interesting, especially as a solution specialist, solution engineering specialist. So you are there, you're trying to solve the problems as they grow. And this is where emerging AI trends, or what emerging AI trends do you actually see shaping the future of marketing automation and analytics in the gaming sector? And when you're trying to create those solutions, and specifically on that aspect, there's a lot of things that you have to cater. And you just mentioned that things are changing very fast. So what's your take on this?
Yes, from a player experience perspective, it's going to be very interesting to see how automated content generation has an impact on their player journey and their general experience. So rather than a player going in and winning the same rewards as an ex-player, it's okay, we can perhaps tailor those rewards, those promotions to what the player is doing on an individual basis. Again, going down to that individuality, that personalization. But I think what's really very, very interesting is the fact that how will the marketer's role change? So we're seeing now how perhaps the marketer, rather than being specialized in a particular function, is now becoming a little more positionless. And what I mean by that is the marketer is now more responsible for, let's say, managing the AI, and the marketer doesn't necessarily have a defined role. They have to be more of a jack of all trades as such. So from a player experience perspective, it's interesting to see how AI tech, and maybe for a player, it might be maybe a little bit too invasive. It's trying to manage that. Imagine everything that is specifically tailored and catered to your interest. And it's the same way that when you see those ads come up on various websites, those Google ads, and you might think, wait a minute, have they been seeing what I'm searching? Or people always think, oh, they're listening to what I've been saying when you see that Instagram ad. Now, there's a balance to be made here, but definitely from where I'm sitting, the perspective is for marketers, even the practitioners behind those journeys, a lot is changing, and how their role are now something that was probably clearly defined is now becoming less defined, and they're having to go into a lot more areas than before. So I think that is something we are definitely seeing in real time.
So you mentioned AI as on one-on-one basis. And how do you envision AI, which is evolving in the gaming sector, over the next 5 years? 2020, 2030 is here. Yeah. It's coming. And there's a lot of visions, there's a lot of push towards 2030 and beyond. What impact will it have on player personalization, which we mentioned, and most importantly, I think, retention? Are you playing any games also in that space?
Always. Yeah. So regarding direction for retention, I'll look at it from the perspective of the CRM marketer. Anything that has been repetitive in the past is perfectly ripe for AI to come in and start automating that process. So what we see is I would say there's 3 stages or 3 flows that are involved in any CRM marketer's day in the life. Right? Building of the audience, creation of the journeys, and then finally analysis. What we're seeing now is AI can actually find out who are the most relevant people to send a particular campaign to. When it comes to the journey, it's knowing the touch points based on what they've clicked on, what they've engaged with, what their previous activity is. AI can then decide, okay, we send them down this path or that path. And then the final step is analysis. Something that used to take a very long period of time. Okay, I need to go into the details of running this test or that test, this A, B, C, etc. It's now something that AI can say, you know what, this campaign ran really well for these reasons. And that explainability is also a factor that's coming into play. From the player experience perspective, we're doing something where we've seen a lot of value in bringing, when I talk about one-to-one personalization, is the fact that the Netflix style experience, where going into a casino lobby, traditionally what we see a lot of operators is the fact that this is something that is generic. It's not personalized to each individual. But we are able to now see how with all of these insights that are happening on the marketer side, they are now able to deliver one-to-one personalization on the lobbies themselves. So someone who's used to using Netflix, Spotify, where everything is curated for you, can now go into a casino and experience the games that they want to see.
Same with that.
Yeah, exactly the same. And that's a whole, I think, really new thing for the iGaming industry, where it's usually been done, again, a bit too much, sometimes on this batch and blast or one size fits all. And we can now get to a point where what I see is completely different from what you see across the entire lifespan of a player.
So thank you, Alec, on the information. I can take one word: personalization is going to be driving what's next with AI and beyond AI. So enjoy your day, enjoy the rest of the summit. There's a lot of activities happening, so I think you're still gonna be more involved. I hope you continue networking and then, you know, inspiring other people. So thank you again for being with us. And that's it for us. We'll see you in the next one.